Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current and latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So big breaking news I'm going to update you on, as I have been updating you on a regular basis, is in regards to Paul Pogba, of course, because we know that he's heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid of course this summer. Reports have been coming out saying that reportedly Ole Gunnar Solsjaker does still insist that Paul Pogba is happy at Manchester United, and probably Ole Gunnar Solsjaker still feels as though that Paul Pogba has got a big future at the club as well. Reports have been coming out saying, that his agent Riley of course, is in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club, of course, as well. Because obviously reports have been coming out, saying what have obviously, Paul Pogba saying that it would be a dream, to play for Real Madrid, and he said he admits, playing for Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid, would be a dream for Paul Pogba, of course, as well. So basically, he's described Real Madrid as a dream club, to be quite honest with you. And obviously, with what Paul Pogba's currently said, this could have concerns, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. But reportedly, his agent Riley reportedly is heading for Manchester, as reports do currently mention, to have Paul Pogba talks, of course, as well. Because there was reports coming out the other day that his agent Riley had a couple of conversations, with Real Madrid, regarding Paul Pogba's desire to swap Old Trafford for the Santiago Bernabeu, of course, this summer as well. So there has been a lot of talks going on about, there's been a lot of narratives, going on about it, that reportedly Riley is in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club, and this was according to the Spanish press recordly as well. But I think from Paul Pogba's perspective, he does want to leave Manchester United this summer, of course, as well, because according to reports from Spain saying that he's made a decision on his Manchester United future, and reportedly he wants to leave Manchester United this summer, of course. So what he's basically said about Real Madrid, Paul Pogba, that just indicates that he's not planning to spend the rest of his playing career in England, of course, as well. And Zinedine Zidane, has said quite a few stuff, in relation to Paul Pogba. Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of the player. Zinedine Zidane, likes Paul Pogba a lot, and Zinedine Zidane has basically, said that he suggested that, Paul Pogba could potentially, make a move to Real Madrid this summer. There's also been talks that he could potentially make a return back to Juventus as well, where he did have 4 great years, Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But Manchester United, being ruthless and, we're standing firm. If any offers do come for Paul Pogba this summer, I think Manchester United are set to turn them down, of course, as well, because recent reports have revealed that Real Madrid are preparing a bid of around £125 million for Paul Pogba. Of course, Zinedine Zidane has identified quite a few targets he's interested in recommending to go to Real Madrid this summer, because now this is his second spell in charge of Real Madrid, of course, as well as Zinedine Zidane. He's got a contract with Madrid till 2022. I think he's going to get around £300 million spending spree to spend this summer, of course, at Real Madrid as well. But one of his targets is reportedly Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But we do know that Paul Pogba has been one of our most influential players in this 3 month or so period under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. His performances have been very, very good. I think he's really, really good, when he's playing in a free role, when he gets that freedom to express himself. He provides good service to the front men and all that, and he plays them delicate passes through, of course, as well. But obviously, as we all currently know, Manchester United have been in talk. I think Man United have been like some kind of talks, like, to try and get him a new contract, but he still remains under contract with Manchester United till 2021. So he's still got over 2 years on his contract term as Paul Pogba, as reports do currently mention. But I think reports did indicate that reportedly he has turned down a contract offer from Manchester United as Paul Pogba reportedly as well. Reports do say if he's to go to Real Madrid, obviously he'll demand a significant pay rise as well. Reports did say he'll demand an annual wage of around £14 million will Paul Pogba. So potentially this would make him the highest paid player, of course, at Real Madrid. But I think Real Madrid, were linked to him back in 2016, of course, as well. But obviously, Real Madrid failed to get him. But obviously, Manchester United paid £89 million for him, back in 2016. So obviously, he's our most expensive signing, of course, as well. But there's still a lot of rumours going on about it, But Paul Pogba did admit, from his own perspective, that he remains happy at Manchester United for the time being. But I think he's planning, to seek out a new challenge, and I think he's planning to make a move to Madrid this summer. So I think Real Madrid are the favourites to land Paul Pogba, of course, as well. And obviously, there's been a lot of talks going on in the media, saying that obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is set to change Paul Pogba's role, of course. Well, obviously was reflecting on the Watford game obviously was reflecting on the Watford game at the weekend. Pogba, was inconsistent at the weekend against Watford as well. But now reports do indicate that reportedly Solskjaer is set to rotate Paul Pogba's role, and I think he's going to put him in more of a defensive role, to be quite honest with you, as well. So Solskjaer is considering a tactical shift for Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But there's still a lot of rumours, going on about it. The rumours will continue to persist, but I think Manchester United set to reject any offers, if any offers do come for Paul Pogba in the summer, of course, as well. But he has been speaking speaking a lot about Real Madrid, as we all know, as well. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does say he still remains happy at Manchester United. He still thinks he's got a big future at Manchester United, of course, because he's still 26 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him, of course, as well. I do think if Mourinho would have still been here, that Paul Pogba, definitely, would have left Manchester United, as we all currently know as well. Because obviously, if Mourinho would have still been here, I think he'd have left, because obviously they had a bad relationship, did Paul Pogba and Jose Mourinho, of course, as well. So there's still a lot of talks, going on about that as well. But we do know players are going to leave Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. Obviously, the most essential thing is that Manchester United are looking to hire a director of football to come in. Obviously, because we need to change the club structure and all that as well. But obviously now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the full-time job as Manchester United manager, of course, as well. He's obviously already making plans for the summer. He's been in discussions with Ed Woodward on a regular basis. What players should come in, what players should go in this summer. I think Solskjaer's got a rough idea of what players he does want to sell this summer, of course, as well. There's still some contract renewals to sort out as well. But obviously now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the job on a full-time basis. It's a 3-year deal. He's got worth around 21 million. Of course, his annual wage £7.5 million, of course, as well. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, expectation levels, will be, of course, to get Manchester United back to the powerhouse, how he was under Alex Ferguson, of course, as well. And obviously, his expectation levels will be elevated to a higher level, get us in that commanding position where we want to be, and get us up there challenging and winning trophies. Of course, in these 3 years, that's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's expectation levels, will be. It is essential that we do get the right players to come to Manchester United this summer as well. I think reportedly we're going to get around over £200 million to spend this summer, as we all know as well. But from Ed Woodward's point of view, the way he's going to look at it is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe it might not work out, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a cheap alternative to Pochettino, is a cheap alternative to Zinedine Zidane, of course, as well. But reportedly we're going to get over £200 million to spend this summer. I think Solskjaer wants about three or four new additions to come in the summer as well, but he's identified the areas where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. Obviously, our priority, I think, is to recommend the right winner to come in as well. I think Solskjaer's keen on adding depth in our midfield, and he's keen on bringing a right back in, of course, as well. Recent reports have said he's not interested in buying many defenders, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because actually defensively we have really improved, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in. To be quite honest with you, defensively we have really improved. So potentially I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to give our current defenders a second chance, to impress and prove themselves, of course, as well. So the defensive area is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority, of course, as well. I think we're okay on the left-hand side, because that's where the majority of our attack is coming from, the left-hand side, of course, as well. But it is essential that we get Champions League for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer transfer window, of course, as well. And obviously we know that we didn't spend back in the January window. We didn't spend much last summer, so potentially we've got to get the right players in the summer, of course. And obviously we've got a board that can invest who Solskjaer wants to bring to Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. But I think he wants about 3 or 4 players this summer, as we all know, as well. So basically, as we all know, Manchester United have got a big game tomorrow against Wolves, as we all as well, as they updated you earlier on, of course, as well. This is the 101st meeting between Wolves and Manchester United in all competitions, of course, as well. It was good to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, without a shadow of a doubt. It's a poor performance, to be quite honest with you. So we do hope that we can see a better performance against Wolves tomorrow night, of course, as well. And obviously this is going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second game. This is going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second game as permanent boss. As well. I think overall it's 21st game in all competitions. Of course, we have won 15 out of 20 so far in all competitions, but this is the 101st meeting between Wolves and Manchester United in all competitions. Obviously, Wolves suffered a 2-0 defeat to Burnley but the week back in early January. I think last time Wolves lost at home, quite honestly as well. So the home is really good. Obviously, we've got to take into account against the top team. Season has been very impressive. Wolverhampton is sorry guys about that. So yeah, as I said, we do not hope to see the same performance, as we did see against Wolves in the FA Cup, of course, as well. Wolves are playing really well. They're sitting 7th in the league. Nuno Santo's done a really good job with Wolves, and they're obviously targeting to try and get into to qualify for the Europa League, of course, as well. So I do think they're sitting 7th in the league. Obviously they're in the FA Cup semi-finals, of course, are Wolves as well. The last meeting between Wolves and Manchester United in the Premier League at Molineux was 5-0 to Manchester United, and I think this was 7 years ago. or something like that as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I did say, has given us a bit of team news, going into this game against Wolves, of course, as well. Obviously, I think Solskjaer is going to rotate the squad, without a shadow of a doubt. Indeed, he's confirmed that Lindelof, could return, because Lindelof, didn't play against Watford, as we all know, as well. So Lindelof could return. Also, too, the good news is we know that Martial has sustained a knock against Watford as well, and obviously, he scored one of the goals. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that Anthony Martial, will be available, of course, as well. So he has given us a bit of team news. We still know that Valencia's out injured, Darmian's injured, Bay's still out. We do know that Sanchez, of course, is still out as well. But I do expect, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to rotate the squad. I do think he'll probably, rotate that midfield, of course, as well with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because you did see against Watford, there was a lot of bad individual performances, even though we won the game. But there was a lot of bad individual performances. The midfield looked totally ineffective, against Watford. And I did say I think Matic should be dropped, in my opinion. Because Matic, as I did say, since he's recovered from his injury, he hasn't been playing well at all. And I've got strong reservations about Nemanja Matic, to be quite honest, because he's very, very slow on the ball. And we do need a centre defensive mid, that's fast and tenacious, to be quite honest with you as well. But for me, Matic is too slow, to be quite honest with you. Of course, he's aging up as well. But overall, his performances have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'll give him that benefit of the doubt. But since he's recovered from injury, he hasn't been playing very, very well. And I think he's slowing that midfield down, to be quite honest with you, of course, as well. Ander Herrera maybe dropped for this game against Wolves, because Ander Herrera had a really, really poor game, Ander Herrera had a really, really poor game against Watford as well, even though mainly his performances again have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's playing more regularly in the team, he's been fitting in that midfield trio very, very well. He's good at breaking the play, is Ander Herrera. But again, guys, he was very, very poor against Watford, so could he potentially, be dropped of course, as well. So as I did say, when Manchester United, did have that injury crisis, especially in our midfield, when Solskjaer, then basically give the fringe players a chance, Scott McTominay, when he was playing really, really well, with McTominay playing between the lines well, Andres Pereira was playing really, really well. Fred, I'm not too sure about Fred, to be quite honest, because I don't know if he's a long-term solution for Manchester United, Fred, to be quite honest with you, because obviously we know he hasn't had much game time, but when he has played, for me, he hasn't been that impressive. We got him from Shakhtar Donetsk last summer, of course, as well, so potentially in that midfield against Wolves on Tuesday night, Solskjaer may give a chance to Andres Pereira or the likes of McTominay, something like that as well. So he will rotate the squad while Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In my opinion, though, in my personal opinion, I think Ashley Young needs to be dropped as well, to be quite honest with you, because obviously we do know that Ashley Young is our first choice right back, of course, and he's aging up now, is Ashley Young, as we all know as well, and I think he's past it now. He's getting exploited far too easy on that right hand side. He loses possession as well, far too easy. So I would, bring Diego Dalot into contention, to be quite honest with you as well. So I do want, Solskjaer is going to rotate the squad, but he probably won't drop Ashley Young. But I think, Ashley Young, should be dropped, to be quite honest with you as well. We do know that Romelu Lukaku is going to be available as well, as we all currently know, because Lukaku didn't play against Watford, even though now he has recovered from that ankle injury, that he did sustain against PSG, of course. Well, and I was very, very impressed with Lukaku, before the international break and all that. He regained his position in the team. He was playing really, really well. He was scoring goals and all that as well. And I think him and Rashford, looked very, very good as a partnership. Did Lukaku and Rashford, to quite honest. And I think Lukaku performs better, when he's getting that support up front, because it makes him look more effective. He can get some of them runs in behind, and I think Lukaku is a really, really good player. He's got a really, really good pedigree in the Premier League, of course, as well. So potentially Lukaku may not start, but he could participate at least in the game, of course, as well. So potentially he could be involved as well. So potentially I do expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to rotate the squad. Probably Lingard, probably maybe in contention to start the game against Wolves tomorrow night, of course, as well. But we do know it's not going to be easy, of course. Well, we do want to win, obviously, to keep our top four ambitions alive. Obviously, we do know basically, I think we've got a great chance of getting top three. If we can get at least 15 points out of these 7 remaining games, I do believe that Manchester United could potentially, finish in the top 3, to be quite honest with you, as well. And obviously, we either want to get top 4 or, of course, want to succeed in the Champions League so we can get Champions League football for next season, of course. Well, and what a remarkable achievement it would be if Manchester United were to win the Champions League, of course. Well, but Solskjaer's done a great job. It's been a great three-month period or so under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Mainly the performances have been good, the results have been good. He's been getting the best out of the players, of course, as well, which is very, very good indeed. Making history in the Premier League, making history in the Champions League as manager, of course, as well. And overall, it's been a very, very good 3 months. It's been a fantastic experience for him so far. Working with the coaches, the players, the staff, and all that as well. But we do know potentially that the performance really has to improve tomorrow night against Wolves, of course, as well. I think. Sorry guys about that, I do apologise. Watford played with a lot of freedom. They had a lot of chances in the game as well. But I just said I think the difference was the finishing in the final third of course as well. Manchester United took their chances. Watford didn't take that. So for me, Watford just weren't clinical enough in that game as well. But it was good to see Rashford and Martial, get the name on the score sheets. They're still both young. They've still got great talent of course as well. The good news is that Rashford's on the verge of signing a new contract with Manchester United of course. Well, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's appointment has obviously convinced Marcus Rashford to commit his long-term future in Manchester United. It's going to be a 5-year deal worth around 100. This will make him the fifth highest paid player, of course, at Manchester United. He's still under contract to Manchester United at the moment till 2020. There is an option of a further year as well. I don't think he's been playing to his potential best. I don't think he's been playing to his potential best, since he's recovered from that ankle injury, of course, as well. But, we still know he's capable of being like lightning. He can get them runs in behind him, of course, well. And he has attracted interest from Barcelona and Real Madrid, of course, as well. But he did score a good goal against Watford, and his finishing has also improved. And he's been mainly playing a key role under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. So he's on the verge of signing a new 5-year deal. Manchester United have been in talks with his representatives, of course, as well. And obviously, we do basically know as well, guys, and it was good to see also, Martial get his name on the score sheet as well. We also do know, in relation to the Herrera, of course, as well, potentially, in relation to Ander Herrera, Man United have been in negotiations to get Herrera a new contract at the club as well. I want to give you an update on reports. Obviously, a lot of have been saying that PSG in Ander Herrera. Reportedly, PSG to offer him £150,000 a week plus a 3-year deal, of course, as well. I think potentially, Man United talks of getting him a new. Reports have been coming out saying that Herrera is demanding £200,000 a week if he's to remain loyal at Manchester United, and of course, as well, because we know during his tenure at Manchester United, he has had rough patches as Ander Herrera, but I do think, to be quite honest with you, overall his performances have really, really improved since Solskjaer's coming, to be quite honest with you as well, because he's been fitting that midfield trio very, very well. He's been breaking up the play, strongly interested. He says Arsenal have also been interested as well. So I think potentially PSG or Arsenal are planning to get him a free transfer at the end of the season, of course, as well. And especially if Herrera leaves, obviously, Manchester United. Recent reports did say that. Sorry guys about that again, but yeah, there's been a lot of talks, going on about it. But reportedly he's on around £130,000 a week at the moment. He's Ander Herrera, so I think he's demanding like a £70,000 increase if he's to stay at Manchester United, of course, as well. So I think he still may want to remain loyal to Manchester United. But obviously Paris Saint-Germain, of course, are looking for a replacement for Adrian Rabiot. They're looking for someone to partner Marco Verratti in their midfield, and reportedly they've identified Ander Herrera as a good potential replacement for Adrian Rabiot, of course, as well. And I think he's 29 years of age now. Is Ander Herrera, to be quite honest with you, as well. So other players are going to leave Manchester United in the summer, as we all know. Valencia's on his way out of the club, as we all know. He's 33 now. He's been at Manchester United 10 years, of course, as well, after we opted against that decision, to give him that new 1-year contract extension as well. So Valencia on his way out of Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. And potentially, I do think we need a right back. Rojo could be on his way out of Manchester United this summer as well. I think his Manchester United career has been effective, with the amount of injuries he's currently had, since he's come to Manchester United, of course, as well. I think Darmian's on his way out of the club in the summer as well, after he's endured a very, very difficult time at Manchester United as well. And Sanchez is definitely on his way out of Manchester United this summer. I think he's set to come back into contention in April, of course, as well. But he's been very inconsistent for Manchester United, because when he has played, he just looks so inconsistent. He just looks as though he's been so restricted. Just looks as though he hasn't been getting the freedom and all that. And we do know it's going to be hard to find a buy for him this summer, considering his substantial wages. He's currently on like over £500,000 a week, is it? Or something like that as well. But I think Man United may consider loaning him out in the summer, or Sanchez, unless Man United can, somewhere along the line come to an agreement, for Sanchez, to take some kind of wage cut or something like that as well. But he's lacked goals and all that, so that just emphasises how ineffective, Sanchez has been. He's 30 now. He has lost that yard of pace, of course, as well. So definitely on his way out of Manchester United this summer, of course. But I think Solskjaer did say to Ed Woodward he wants to sell about 3 players, but I think probably more than 3 players are going to leave Manchester United, of course, this summer as well. So as I've been updating you on some transfer rumours that have been going on, as I wanted to give you an update on as well. And it's good that Solskjaer's monitoring, an interest in quite a few young players, a few young upcoming talents, of course, as well. And it's essential that we do get maybe a couple of young players to Manchester United this summer, because we have got a host of experienced players. They do seem to be the ones, that are causing us the problems, to be quite honest with you as well. But I think he's identified his top 3 targets, as we all know. Reports have been coming out saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer showed an interest in Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka, right back. West Ham's Declan Rice, holding midfielder, and Jadon Sancho, a right winger, of course, as well. And they're all British. They're all very, very young, of course, as well. And they're all England's youngest upcoming talents, of course, as well. Reports to take could cost Manchester United in total of £170 million to get Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Jadon Sancho, and Declan Rice, of course, as well. And I think in relation to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's a Crystal Palace player. He's only 21 years of age, of course. For me, he'd be a perfect successor to Antonio Valencia, of course, as well, because he's very, very young, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think he's valued at around £40 million, something like that. But I think he's got like the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years, or something like that, as Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, so far, spent the entirety of his playing career at Crystal Palace. Of course, he's up their youth system. Only broke into the first team in February of last year, of course, as well. I think he's made about 34 appearances for Crystal Palace. He did say reportedly Manchester United are preparing to put a bid in of around £35 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well. But obviously, we do need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side, because Valencia's on his way out, as I said, and I think he'd be a good upgrade to Valencia. Obviously, Ashley Young now, he's 33 years of age, and by the time his 1 year extension expires, he'll be nearly 35 years of age, of course, as well. So potentially, I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka, would be the right candidate, to be quite honest with you, as well. So reportedly, Manchester United have showed an interest in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but I think he's valued at around £40 million, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of talks about him. I think his defensive capabilities are very, very good indeed, as well. Declan Rice has also been mentioned as well. He's under contract with West Ham till 2024. He's a defensive midfielder, and I did say we need someone who's young, and we need a fast and tenacious, defensive midfielder, of course, as well. And Declan Rice reportedly has had a good season with West Ham this season. I think he's valued around £40 million, of course, as well as Declan Rice. So there's also been talks about him, going on as well. But he's had a good season, with West Ham as Declan Rice. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. But he's only 20 years of age, so he's still got a lot of years ahead of him, as we all know, as well. But we do know the club's number one priority target, of course, is obviously Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, and we do need someone on that right, that can play between the bylines, put crosses into the box. And in my opinion, I think Jadon Sancho, is capable of doing this. To be quite honest with you, Manchester United are heavily linked with him, of course. Obviously, it could still cost Man United in the summer a 9-figure sum of around £100 million, of course, to get Jadon Sancho on the board. He still remains under contract, with Borussia Dortmund until 2022, as we all know, as well. But yeah, he's a very, very good player, as Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund only paid £8 million for him a couple of years ago from Manchester City, as we all know. He's a former Manchester City player, so in that aspect, he's had experience of playing in the English football, of course, as well. But he never broke into the first team with City. He was never guaranteed to play regular in the first team with Man City or play regular. This is the main reason he departed City and went to Borussia Dortmund, of course, as well. So potentially, Man United do believe we can get him for around £80 million. So potentially, whatever the circumstances are, it would potentially, make him the most expensive English footballer ever, of course, as well. But he's been at Borussia Dortmund now a couple of years, and his performances have been fantastic. He's grown, developed, and flourished fantastically well. He's just turned not too long ago, 19 years of age, of course, as well. I think he's attracted interest, from quite a few teams across Europe. There's been a narrative going on about now for the last 4 or 5 weeks, that Man United have been heavily linked with Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. And Borussia Dortmund, as I said, have been known for doing business with their players, of course, as well. But we do know he's going to cost us quite a bit of money, but we've got the financial power to meet his valuation, of course, as well. And I think he'd be a great addition to the team. And I think Jadon Sancho is the solution to Manchester United's problems, without a shadow of you. Well, I updated you about yesterday. I actually updated you on my as well as in relation to Crystal Palace's Wilfried Zaha, of course, was obviously the former Manchester United player. He did serve a couple of years with Manchester United under Van Gaal, and I think it was under Moyes and under Louis Van Gaal, but he never actually broke into the first team, with Manchester United, did Wilfried Zaha. But reports have been coming out in the media saying that reportedly he's valued at around £70 million as Wilfried Zaha, because reportedly since he's been at Palace since 2015, of course, when he permanently went to Crystal Palace. Reports are saying that Manchester United can get him for a reduced fee this summer, Wilfried Zaha, reportedly. After reports do say, I think it's indicated that Manchester United reportedly have got a clause in Wilfried Zaha's deal, which potentially means Manchester United get 25% of the profit Crystal Palace get from selling him, of course. So the reports saying we have got a clause in his deal. I think some people have said we haven't got a clause in his deal, but either way, any sale of Wilfried Zaha this summer, Manchester United would get 25% of the profit, of course, as well. So reportedly, we can get Wilfried Zaha for a reduced fee, of course, as as well. Actually, he did serve a couple of years at Manchester United. It actually was Alex Ferguson's last signing, of course, well, before he announced his retirement at the end of the season. And I think Manchester United, of course, paid about £10 million for Wilfred Zaha, of course, as well. But he failed in his couple of years, with Manchester United. What happened is he began his career with Crystal Palace. He risen up the youth system with Crystal Palace, reportedly. Then he came to Manchester United, I think, in 2013. He spent a couple of years with Manchester United, but he never broke into the first team. Then I think he went to Crystal Palace again, but I think he had a loan spell with Cardiff as well. Did. Wilfred Zaha, and actually, he's actually played under Ole Gunnar Solsjaker as Wilfred Zaha, because obviously when Wilfred Zaha was on Cardiff, obviously at that time, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was Cardiff manager, of course, as well. So Solskjaer, may be keen on reuniting with Wilfred Zaha. Obviously, Wilfred Zaha is still I think he's under contract with Crystal Palace until 2023, of course, well, but reportedly his performances have been really, really good, since 2015, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of talks going on about that. Indeed, he can play as a forward, he can actually operate on both wings as well, can Wilfred Zaha, of course, as well. So there has been talks saying that Man United are linked with a shock transfer return for Crystal Palace's Wilfred Zaha, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of talks, going on about that as well. But other players, Manchester United have been interested, as well as obviously, being Chelsea's Callum Hudson-Odoi, of course. Well, again, very, very young, only 18 years of age, of course, is Callum Hudson-Odoi. But reports have been coming out saying that Man United have been interested. Obviously, it was Bayern Munich's top priority back in January, because Bayern Munich held talks. Bayern Munich had a host of bids turned down in January, and Bayern Munich willing to offer him the number 10 shirt, of course, as well. And I think Callum Hudson-Odoi still wants to leave Chelsea, of course. He put a transfer request in January, but Chelsea wouldn't let him leave, of course, in January. I still think he wants to leave Chelsea this summer, of course, but I don't think Chelsea will let him leave, considering they've got a transfer ban and all that. And Chelsea, I think, are willing to offer him a new contract, worth around £100,000 a week, to convince him to stay at Chelsea. Of course, I think he's yet to start a Premier League game this season, Callum Hudson-Odoi, under Maurizio Sarri, of course, as well. He still remains under contract with Chelsea until 2020. But he indicated that he's nowhere near close to signing a new contract with Chelsea. Of course, Callum Hudson-Odoi, as we all know as well. But it says Man United have been interested. It also said that Liverpool have also been interested. Liverpool have had negotiations with Callum Hudson-Odoi's representatives, of course, as well. So there has been talks about that going on. He's obviously one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. Not too long ago, made his England senior debut. He's only 18 years of age, of course, as well. So potentially he may want to see first team football week in, week out, if he moves from Chelsea, because he's really getting this at Chelsea, first team football, of course. But yeah, so that's mainly transfer rumours to update you on. But the big part of this video is to give you an update in relation to Paul Pogba. Of course, reports are coming out saying that reportedly in relation to Paul Pogba, reports are coming out in relation to all that, saying in relation to Paul Pogba, that reportedly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said that Paul Pogba is happy at Manchester United. Maybe Solskjaer still feels as though he has got a big future at the club as Paul Pogba. Despite there's been a lot of rumours going on, linking him with Real Madrid, of course, as well. Riley Ola reportedly is heading for Manchester to have more talks about it. Paul Pogba desire to leave Old Trafford to join Santiago Bernabeu this summer. Also, Riley has obviously already been in negotiations with Real Madrid, according to the Spanish outlet. He's had a couple talks with Real Madrid, of course, as well, as Riley in relation to Paul Pogba again. But Paul Pogba has actually announced, I think, that he does want to leave Manchester United this summer, according to the Spanish outlet, of course. Well, and what he's basically said about Real Madrid with his dream to play for them and all that, I think this could have concerns for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, well. But if any offers do come in the summer, I think potentially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United are set to turn these offers down, of course, as well. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel, guys. If you do consider subscribing to the channel, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.